Yes, hello Manas, welcome on YourPedia platform and let's start your thermodynamic snap for your HPCL interview.
Thank you, sir.
Manas, what is specific heat?
Sir, specific heat is actually the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance by unit degree rise in temperature.
Achha, how specific heat of a gas changes with the increase in temperature? Yes, please go ahead, Manas.
So,
How the specific heat of an ideal gas are going to change with the change in temperature?
sir, I'm not sure of the answer.
You heard about CPCV.
Yes, sir.
So gases are having two specific heat.
Yes, sir.
Which one is higher?
Sir, CP is higher.
Why?
Sir, more work is required to be done for constant pressure to raise the temperature to constant pressure, sir. More work is to be done.
More work is to be done.
The more amount of heat is required, sir.
Why more it is required? Fine. In case of C means more heat is required in case of constant pressure process.
Yes.
Why? Yes, Manas.
I'm not.
Okay.
I cannot recall.
Fine. So, what is PMM1? What are the main differences between PMM1 and PMM2?
Sir, PMM1, sir, there is no device which can produce continuous work without absorbing some form of energy or some form of energy appearing. Or conversely, also it is true that a device cannot perform work continuously without some form of energy appearing of some other forms of energy in the environment, sir. And for PMM2, sir, it is not possible for a device to produce work without some form of input, heat input.
Okay. So, what are properties, Manas? What do you understand by thermodynamic properties?
Sir, thermodynamic properties are of a system are the their point functions, sir. They define a state of the system, sir.
So entropy is a property or it is not a property?
Sir, it is a property of a system.
So entropy change is same between the same initial and final state. Entropy change is same for both reversible and irreversible process.
Yes, sir. It is not dependent on the path, sir. Entropy is a property.
Can you tell me the significance of that term, entropy? What it represents actually?
Yes, sir. Sir, entropy actually defines the randomness, or degree of randomness or disorderness of a system. And it is obtained by the Clausius. Is defined by the Clausius equation. So
Manas, suppose there is some mixing of two gases taking place in some chamber. Okay. Yes. Then how you can write the first law of thermodynamics equation for that? In a particular chamber, two gases are mixing.
Yes.
Okay, and then you can go with all suitable assumptions, to give me some equation, a kind of what you can say energy balance equation, because first law tells us what we cannot create energy, we cannot destroy energy. Yes, energy is conserved. Yes. Some kind of energy balance we are going to get through first law of thermodynamics. So what is that energy balance you can write for a mixing process? Manas, that is my question.
Sir, M1 V1 plus M2 V2 by M1 plus M2. We can go on for like that. Sir.
Repeat once again.
Sir, M1 V1 plus M2 V2 over M1 plus M2.
M1 V1. What is that M1 V1? M is mass. What is that V1?
V, sir, volume.
Mass into volume.
Yes.
Mass into volume is what? The product of mass and volume will give us what? Mm-hmm. मानस अनस्टडी फ्लो से क्या समझते हो आप? What is an unsteady flow?
Sir, the amount of energy, amount of mass entering the system is not equal to the amount of mass that leaves the system. Or, sir, we can also say that the flow is changing with time.
मानस चार्ल्स लॉ सुना आपने? You heard about Charles law?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, for Charles' law, sir, at constant volume, the pressure is directly proportional to temperature for an ideal gas.
At constant volume.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Charles law. Then tell me the complete statement once.
Sir, at constant pressure, sir, volume is directly proportional to temperature for an ideal gas.
For an ideal gas, some part you are missing. Mm-hmm.
I cannot recall the statement, sir.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Achha, can we treat steam as an ideal gas?
Sir, at high pressure and at low pressure and high temperatures, steam can be treated as an ideal gas, sir.
At what? High temperature, high pressure?
So low pressure and high temperature.
Low pressure, high temperature. Okay. What is an irreversibility? What do you understand by term irreversibility?
The term irreversibility is actually gives the difference between the useful work and unuseful work, sir, non-useful work. Sir, and also there are irreversible processes like, sir, viscous forces, viscous flows, and sir, free expansion processes.
So why we have defined COP for a refrigerator? Why not efficiency?
So it is a work absorbing device.
Mm-hmm.
So we define the coefficient of performance. What desired effect is available for the given input, power input.
Okay. Maras, what is an heat engine?
So heat engine is a work producing device which works which absorbs heat from a source and releases it rejects heat to a sink, and it provides like work output. It gives us work.
I just suppose if I will give you a mixture of gases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
For example, mixture of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, something like that. So you know they are a kind of mole friction. Then how you will calculate the equivalent characteristic gas constant of the mixture? Equivalent characteristic gas constant of the mixture. How you will calculate that? You got my question?
Sorry, sir. I don't think I'm not sure of this one.
Manas, what is calorific value?
Calorific value, sir, is the amount of heat available. Amount of heat available that can be extracted from the system, from the substance.
चलो ठीक है मानस, आई थिंक नाउ आई कैन प्रोवाइड यू द फीडबैक. देखो मानस, एक तो आप मेरे ख्याल से अभी आपने बहुत अच्छे से रिवाइज नहीं किया है थर्मोडायनेमिक्स. यू अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी?
यस सर.
सो यू टू रिवाइज अगेन दिस सब्जेक्ट थर्मोडायनेमिक्स. कुछ कुछ आपको आइडिया है बट यू फुल्ली यू हैव नॉट रिवाइज दिस सब्जेक्ट. ओके, watch marathon class, listen to some of the snaps, refer to some of the standard textbooks or notes if you prepared for this subject, and then again join.
Okay.
देखो क्या होता है, सीपीसीवी दोनों बढ़ते हैं. सीपीसीवी both increases with the increase in temperature. Gamma value actually going to decrease.
Sir, gamma decreases.
Gamma decreases with the increase in temperature. Specific heat at constant pressure, CPCV both increases.
Okay.
But increase in CV is higher actually as compared to CP. That's why gamma is going to decrease. But both are going to increase. Gamma is what? The ratio of CP by CV. What
Yes.
will we do actually? What is specific amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance by unit degree Celsius?
Yes.
So when you are giving, when you are adding heat in a constant volume, at
Okay.
constant volume, suppose when you are adding heat at constant volume, entire heat is going into the raise in internal energy.
Yes.
Whereas when we are adding heat at constant pressure, the part of heat is going into the raise in internal energy and some part of the heat is going into the work.
Okay, yes,
so
sir.
That's why more heat is required to raise the temperature of gas by unit degree Celsius, because only part of that heat is going into the raise in internal energy. Are you getting Manas idea?
Yes, sir. Yes.
तो इसको थोड़ा क्लियरली बताओ. मिक्सिंग में V from where you got V? You need to write the enthalpy ना. Energy balance enthalpy, mass into the H1, M1 H1 plus M2 H2.
Yes, sir.
M1 H1 plus M2 H2 that is equal to M3 H3. तो एक तो पहला लिखोगे सर, कैन यू कंसीडर फ्लो एज ए स्टेडी फ्लो? तो चलो स्टेडी फ्लो है तो M1 plus M2 that is equal to M3 sir. Conservation of mass, conservation of energy sir, we can write it as, because we can neglect the suppose kinetic energy, potential energy changes, there is no heat transfer, there is no work transfer, then we can write M1 H1 plus M2 H2 that is equal to M3 H3. Energy in equal to energy out. So what energy is entering? M1 H1, M2 H2. What is leaving? M3 H3. Kinetic energy, potential energy changes, we are neglecting, no heat transfer, no work transfer, steady flow.
Yes.
Are you getting, Manas?
Yes, sir.
What is the problem with that?
Sir, I can't recall, sir.
Recall करना पड़ेगा. Manas, थोड़ा सा energy बढ़ाओ.
Okay.
Be confident. Okay, and you know to generate interest. Manas, otherwise interviewer ने अगर interest lose कर दिया फिर दिक्कत हो जाएगी. I earlier interacted with you, and I know you mentioned about your father also working in retired or maybe working in ONGC. I think you mentioned, है ना?
Yes.
So, or you are having, technical understanding is fine. You answered, most of the HR question that time you answered correctly, but technically you face difficulty, and that you face today also. But अभी आपका delivery style improve हो रहा है. You are looking confident this time. Okay. But technical knowledge you need to enhance. There are chances, Manas, you need to prepare each and every part. At least 2-3 subjects you need to prepare.
Okay.
Okay. तो एक बार revise कर लो. And irreversibility is not the difference of the maximum work minus the unavailable work. No, it is the loss of work actually. How much work we are losing in a process. That is the difference of what? The maximum work minus actual work which we are getting. The maximum work which we can get minus the work which actually we are getting. So it is actually represents what? The work which we lost in a particular process. Maximum that we can get and actually what we are getting, the difference of that is irreversibility. So the whatever work we lost in a process, whatever available energy we lost in a process, that is known as irreversibility. Is it clear, Manas?
Okay.
तो इसको एक बार देख लो. चार्ल्स लो, बॉयल्स लो, ये बहुत बेसिक चीजें हैं. जब तक आप ये नहीं मेंशन करोगे ना फिक्स्ड मास ऑफ ए गैस, सर फॉर ए फिक्स्ड मास ऑफ ए आइडियल गैस, fixed mass of an ideal gas at constant pressure, volume is directly proportional to temperature, तब तक ये कंप्लीट नहीं होगा आपका, चार्ल्स लो, बोल्स लो या कोई भी और लो, ठीक है?
Yes.
चलो रिवाइज करो मानस, एंड अगेन इफ यू फील यू कैन जॉइन मी फॉर योर सब्जेक्ट्स. गुड लक एंड बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर योर फाइनल इंटरव्यू.
Thank you, sir.